All right, can you look on yours and see if it's live?
Start sending us your video. Oh, I got a check mark. Streaming, streaming, streaming. Don't you love to streaming?
Okay, does it show streaming on yours?
It says I am, so.
Okay.
Just another way I'm trying not to have the echo.
Yeah, you're not echoing, it's me. It's because I'm in there twice and I even disconnected the one, but I don't know. All right, so I'm assuming we are live. There we are. Okay, we are live. There we are. Okay, I think it's echoing on there too. All right, Stacy and Lynn, am I echoing? Because they're watching. Yes. Okay, I don't think it echoes with Nikki, so I'll try to keep my mouth shut. How about that?
Can you mute the other one that was logged in, or
did.
you already turned it all the way off?
Mm-hmm.
Technical challenges in our business and lives.
All right.
I'm not here to sing for you guys.
Yes,
Luckily,
I'm going to get you on my phone and not on Facebook Live. That's interesting. Maybe try it again because am I still echoing? Oh, she said it's not echoing now. Well, whatever I did to fix it, perfect. Can you see the comments, Nikki?
Yep, I can see the comments now.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, so as long as it's not echoing for anybody but me, I'm going to take this off while I speak for a minute. Okay.
It's your show.
That way I can't hear the echo. All right. So this is Nikki Green, and I'm so excited to have her here. We just did my podcast recording on her podcast yesterday. She's already been on mine, and it was such an amazing conversation that I felt really cool that she agreed to be part of this. So I'm so excited to have her here, and I will let you tell a little bit about you, just in case it's still echoing a little bit, and then we'll kind of get into everything. But I will tell everybody that when I talked to her yesterday, I told her about some of the things that we are doing in the group. So she's going to be doing some things that will help support you in all the things that we've got going on. And she's got some amazing things. Remember, her talk is "A Future So Bright, You Gotta Wear Shades," because she's amazing. So take it away, Nikki.
Oh, thanks, Vicki. Well, hi, everyone across the internet, wherever you may be, coming from my channels, coming from Vicki's channels. It's great to be here. As it says on the screen, I am a life and business resiliency expert, and everyone's like, well, what the heck does that mean? So I help people navigate change. So anybody who's in some kind of time of transition, mostly people are coming to me in some kind of career transition. So they're maybe leaving their corporate job and going into own their own business like I did. Maybe they're just trying to do a different thing in their career. And then a lot of life changes. So I grew up with a very blended family. I moved many, many times, pretty much every 2 years of my life. So no matter what kind of change you're going through, I probably have experienced it either first or secondhand. But yeah, Vicky and I, thankfully, we met on StreamYard through the community that they have for podcasters, and she invited me to be on here. I've done a lot of crazy things in my life and pushed through big goals. I've run 7 marathons, 3 ultras. I've done multiple triathlons. My first business was coaching and hosting triathlons, and now I help people build their own businesses and try to pursue their dreams. So that's just a small bit about me, and
Beautiful,
thanks for
beautiful.
having me here.
It's great to have you here, and it is still echoing for me. So I'm going to turn this volume up so I can hear you without that. Of course. All right, guys, is it still echoing for me? If it is, I'll just shut up.
Before Stacy had said it sounded okay, so.
All right, because it's still echoing in my stuff. So, all right. So, like I said, Nikki, we are working on this. This is the month of magic, and so we're really getting into the magic of dreams and the magic of yes. Oh, it's now echoing again. Okay, so I'm going to be echoing no matter what. So, why don't I just let it's not you, it's me. Just go ahead and if you want to, just take it away, do your thing, and I will just sit back here and enjoy. How about that?
You can jump in at any time, or I can repeat it. You can put the comments in the chat too, and then we'll try. We'll ad lib, guys. This is exactly what it's about. It's just adapting to change as it happens to us, even when we're not choosing.
Yes.
What I've been talking with a lot of my clients in my community about is, believe it or not, goal setting. We just finished Q1, and sometimes people don't think of it like that. They just think of like, oh, well, I'm setting a goal for the year and, set it and forget it, which is usually what happens. So how many people that are kind of listening say, oh, yeah, I totally set New Year's resolutions? Put a 1 in the chat if you do, put a 0 if you do not. I'd love to see kind of if you guys are setting goals on a regular basis. Some folks don't believe in them. Sometimes you feel like, oh man, because don't really achieve the goal, or sometimes a year-long goal is just too long. People kind of just stop doing the whole practice. And so what I try to work on with people is goal achieving. Let's like kind of reverse engineer this stuff. And I know for April, you guys are talking about the magic month, right? And how do we make that magic happen? Too many people, they kind of got these like smart goals set in their head, and that sounds really boring. It's like, let me be very specific monetarily. Oh, good. Stacy does set goals, not necessarily for New Year's, which is great. Who cares what the timing is? We just set goals for when we need to achieve them. And I think that's it. If people feel like they have to be time bound, if maybe it has to be tied to money or some kind of thing that doesn't resonate with them, then the goal doesn't usually happen. So what I try to help people with, and this is something, I think would really resonate, Vicky, with you and your community, is really, how do I manifest that? How do I think in my mind what it would be like to achieve that goal? How do I really focus on the end state? And then I can work back, like, what do I need to actually do to get there? Which is usually a lot more fun, right? Like thinking about all the hard work and how long it's going to take and how overwhelming the goal might be. That's really not the fun part. The fun part is really kind of connecting those dots and putting everything together. So, Vicky, how about you? I know you have big goals for yourself and your business and your community of growing them and putting them together. Oh, there, yeah. So Vicky sets goals just like Stacy, but she doesn't do it for New Year's. She focuses on the journey, which is definitely the much more important part. Yeah, a lot of people, when they come to me, we'll do vision boards and some of that fun stuff, which is a better way to kind of get you to see the goals. And people love to tell me, oh, okay, well, I want to be able to work from anywhere. I want to be able to work on a beach and, whatever all these, kind of things are. But trust me, I've been there in my corporate job where I worked from not just anywhere, but literally everywhere. Every time I was on a plane, in an airport, from a taxi, I never had any spare time. And even when I was trying to be on vacation in Cabo San Lucas with my friends, that was not fun, kids. That's not the kind of working from anywhere that I want for you guys. Oh, Stacy's husband is retiring in 8 months and she's just starting her career at 47. So that sounds like a lot of changes right now. Yeah, for sure. And that's the hard part, right? We're all in these different transitional states, and maybe your partner or your family isn't in those same states. So they may not remember kind of how those challenges are when you have to learn new things and you have to really keep pushing yourself to adapt every single day. So Vicky and I were talking about yesterday how important it is to take these small steps towards achieving that goal and really being grateful every day for feeling that progress and making things come together. So Stacy, maybe what kind of career are you starting? And let's talk about these big goals that we're going after, or anyone else that might be on that feels brave enough to share.
Well, if I'm not echoing too much, I can tell you Stacy's a TikTok influencer.
Ooh. I love it. I love it. I'm
Yeah.
on TikTok. I got on like many people during the pandemic, and it's a whole different level, a whole different platform. And I've been amazed at how much, in the most part, it's been more positive. Ooh,
Mhm.
holistic healing, very important. And people can really showcase their talents on there. I've seen amazing musicians and artists and people just really trying to transform and bring that to life, which I love. But I know sometimes, again, even with the social media algorithms or like today, technical challenges, there may be things that, are outside of our control. And so, the more you can keep connecting with people in a realistic way and bringing that zone of genius, I think the better off we can all be. So if I don't talk about SMART goals, some people are like, so then what am I supposed to do? Like, how do I set my goals, and how do I know I'm not working from a beach everywhere, but working in everywhere? Oh, Vicky dropped so she could go hopefully fix her audio. Okay, so your husband is building you a web page for affiliate marketing. Oh, great idea. I think for most of us, almost all of us have some version of affiliate marketing going on behind the scenes. And it's a great way to have kind of a more of a passive income coming in, to be able to keep doing, all the different things. Very few of us have one income stream. It's
Let me
always
test
about
it.
having
Let me test it.
things. Ooh.
It's a miracle. I realized I looked and I thought, well, there's another StreamYard thing up there. What is that? Technical error, all my fault. I apologize, guys. Go ahead. I'm
That's
sorry.
fantastic. No, not at all. And this is it, guys. Like, there's speed bumps in the road. It's like life does not go according to plan, and neither do going Facebook Live. It just happens. And we have to have some humility. We really do, because if we're trying to put on this facade, like many of us probably had to do in previous careers, you were always trying to be someone else that you weren't. And you could never have a bad day. You could never, have an issue that technically didn't come together. You felt like you had to be perfect all the time, and that's not sustainable. That it's just not possible. So I love interactions like this where we just wing it and laugh and just like help each other out where we can and just keep the thing moving, man. I love it. Stacy's laughing along with us.
Yes, yes. And I'm wondering if Lynn was able to get us up on Facebook Live because she said she could only get it on the phone, but I don't see her. She hasn't interacted, so maybe something happened with hers. I don't know, but Stacy's here. That's beautiful.
Hopefully she'll come back later. And that's it. Hey, sometimes you can't start things on the hour and something happens. My kids run in, they need help with homework, the cat's crying. Just any number
Oh,
of
okay.
things.
Lynn is here. She said she's fixing her dinner.
Oh, good, good, good. Yeah.
I,
Luckily, my boyfriend is downstairs making dinner for us right now. So as soon as
oh,
I get done
well,
with
I
my
had
busy
dinner
day.
right before I got on, and I will tell you that this is probably TMI, but I went and flossed really quick to make sure. I thought that would be the worst thing to look and say and smile and think, holy crap, something in my
Another
teeth.
wonderful thing for us to communicate with each other. You guys can help, and if we do have something in our teeth, make sure to let us know.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
All
Oh,
right,
Stacey's having
beautiful.
dinner too. Oh,
All right.
beautiful. I love it. I love it. Yeah. So I like to, so I kind of see SMART goals as like the science of goal setting. Like we're being really prescriptive and, we're thinking about the numbers and really trying to go, week by week, what we can do. But that's not really fun unless you're kind of that sort of analytical person. For most of us, that doesn't help
Yeah.
us.
Well, if I
And
can share, that is not me. That is one of those things that I resist tremendously. Like, and one of my coaches, she wants me to put things in a spreadsheet, and it's like it's so much easier just to do it. And so it's like pulling teeth to get me to put things in a spreadsheet. I can write it on a piece of paper. I can do all of that. And so that's definitely something that I'm working on getting better at.
Well, and it's learning new skills. I mean, I spent 20 years in finance and in my corporate job. So spreadsheets were a second language to me. I also worked at Microsoft. So like if we weren't using their products, then, that was kind of a sin. And so I actually do a lot of stuff in spreadsheets. And it was surprising to me when I learned a lot of people don't like spreadsheets at all.
Mm-mm.
So it was one of these many more courses that I'm actually creating right now is how to fall in love with a spreadsheet.
Yeah, I might need that one. I can do it. It's just for some reason it seems to take me out of what I'm creating, because I don't think that way. I was raised with a hairstylist family, and I've done art, I've done poetry, I've done writing, and all that stuff. The paperwork stuff is not my jam. And I've got a niece that she is like, she used to keep notebooks and spreadsheets with everything in it. And it was like, oh my gosh, you're so organized, but that has never been me. So, you're creating this program thing. So what would be one thing that I could do that might help me to fall in love? Just a little quickie thing. No, you don't have to give all your whole thing away. But something that I could do that might help me to feel like it's not actually pulling me out of my creativity place.
Yeah. So one thing I do is I actually switch people from if they're not analytical type people, if they're not doing a lot of stuff with numbers, then maybe a spreadsheet isn't best for you, but they do have lots of great digital notebooks. I think the challenge with, and trust me, I still do it. I have post-its all over the place, right? Of like
Mm-hmm.
trying to remember all these little things. We still need a better process and we need to be able to leverage technology in a way that aligns with us. So I push people into digital notebooks. That could be some of the newer stuff like Notion, which is really popular, or Evernote. Of course, as a Microsoft person, I used OneNote, and really teaching people how to make sure whenever you're meeting with clients, whenever you're on a place where you're trying to learn like this, if you can take the notes with a digital notebook, it's great because you can do it from your phone. You can dictate the notes. You don't even have to type. You can put links and then go refer to stuff later. And then it's searchable. And you can make it colorful. You can add pictures and screenshots and all these things that are a lot more robust than what you can do sometimes with Excel. And so digital notebook, I think, is a great simple tool that you can use in a lot of ways that will make you so much faster than trying to find the 15 post-its that are still sitting on my
Yeah,
desk.
yeah, yeah. You don't even want to look at the post-its I've got on the bottom of my screen here. So you
And
said
these
digital notebook?
digital notebook, yeah. And post-its still have their place, right? When you're trying to get just like today's task, like really focused, for me to sit down at breakfast while I'm drinking my coffee and write my post-it of my 3 top things, that still works. But I keep the digital notebook for the bigger life changes and things that I'm trying to work on and making sure I'm keeping track of stuff for my clients so that I'm on track of that stuff because that stuff starts to get overwhelming when you're trying to scale your business to the next level. So
Yeah, yeah, I agree. All right, so let's see. I know you guys are listening. Has anybody got any? Oh, Jean Green is here. I see you here, Jean. So just say hello in the comments so Nikki can see you. And she's talking about goal setting, and she was helping me with the digital notebook since I kind of resist doing the spreadsheets and not the Stacy that's on here, but the Stacy that is helping me with my business and everything. She knows how much I resist those spreadsheets. But like I said, I'm working on it. I'm trying to get because I know it helps me be a lot more organized, and it's the a little bit out of my normal scope of things. So it's I'm learning. So maybe this will be the bridge to kind of get me there a little bit better. So yeah, I'll try that. Okay,
Awesome.
that's Jean. Is that's Jean, I think. Yeah, yeah. So do you have
Awesome.
any questions, Jean? I don't know how much you heard, and I know Stacy's eating dinner and listening, and Lynn was what was it
I
she
think
was
Lynn was
doing?
making
She
dinner
was
too.
making
Yeah,
dinner.
Lynn's
Yeah,
making dinner.
yeah.
It's dinner time for everybody. Yeah, definitely chime in, if you have any thoughts or goals you're trying to work on right now. One of the things I talk about too is that a lot of times we set these big goals and we're so afraid of them. We've got, a lot of limiting beliefs or, old patterns that we're like, man, I don't even believe I can achieve it. So I don't want to tell others about the goal because, they're going to either, tell me I can't do it or somewhere be in a negative space and I can't handle even that rejection, which has nothing, to do with me.
Right.
It happened with my first marathon when I went to go. I registered and I didn't tell anybody for months, and I was training and training all by myself. And I didn't realize how important like being in a community of runners could actually be. But I had all these like worries and doubts about being too slow and not being able to keep up with other people and other people being more experienced, all these things that we get put on us from school, from work life, that
Mhm.
you can only be the fastest and the best and that's the only one that counts. And then I got to the starting line of my first marathon in Northern California, and there's thousands of people everywhere at all different speeds, all different body types. I saw a blind man run that marathon. So it was like there's no excuse. And the more we can be like sharing what our
Mhm.
goals are, then if you need help, if you need support, even just someone to say, "Hey, that's a great job. I would love to support you in that." Then it gets us closer to that goal. You never know what's sitting out there for other people to be able to help you. But if we keep it all locked up, they can't help you. And you are going to be all by yourself struggling to try to claw your way to achieving that important thing for yourself.
Yeah, I agree. And the other thing that speaking it out to other people does is it kind of all of a sudden puts you into a place where now I got to do this thing, you know? And because it's really easy a lot of times, even though it shouldn't be, it's really easy to quit on ourselves. But if we've enlisted somebody else or we've at least shared something with them, then it kind of helps us to press forward. And I'm dealing with that right now with my book. I'm writing a book, right? And I say that very loosely because I've got index cards, I've got a board out, I've got these things. I've written one section in a Word document, but it's like I've been busy with all these other things and it hasn't been my top of focus. But every now and then I'm in a writer's thread on Facebook, and every now and then that thread will pop up, and I think, "Damn, I'm supposed to have written some words today," and then I go do something, and I know I'm going to get it done. And so the thing that I'm working on with writing this book is giving myself permission to not have to be on a this whirlwind of I got to get this done because it doesn't have a deadline, it doesn't have anything like that, so I can just write at my leisure as things come to me. So I keep index cards. So I have a thought, I write it on an index card and I stick it over here. And I've got a stack of index cards right now of different thoughts that I want to put into this book. So now I've just got to get my board out and put them in on the timeline of what's happening in the story. And so I don't know when this book will actually be finished, but hopefully it's not long.
We'll be the first in line to grab it. And that's writing though. That's how I wrote my first book too, and many other ones is at some point it's very difficult to be creative on a schedule.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to go when the flow is there. Now, somewhat there is a practice of getting yourself a little bit uncomfortable and just getting in the practice of writing on a regular basis. But I would just go all over the place. And so some days I would be very inspired and I know the story start to finish. And other days I'm like, I don't have no idea what's going on Facebook or TikTok, right?
Right.
But you can find inspiration even in those things of like getting yourself to go do research or create an outline for the next chapter. All those pieces will come together at the end. So a lot of us are what they call pantsers, which is we just go by the seat of our pants and it's
Yeah.
okay. Let the creative process unfold and just get stronger at the writing itself.
Yeah.
And so that's where I think a lot of goals fall short is we feel like, oh, I have to do it this way because someone told me. But if it doesn't feel right, then you're probably not going to keep doing it anyway.
Right, right. Well, has anybody been experiencing that right now of feeling like that maybe they're like for me, I was kind of feeling like maybe I'm a little inadequate or I'm a little slow or there was something that was keeping me from writing this book. And I really want to, but I don't make myself do it because it just feels like sometimes it feels like a task and then it's not fun, right? So is anybody else experiencing that with anything in their business or their personal lives where they've got like a goal set and it's like they're struggling to get to the actual activities that make it happen? I guess that's what I was doing.
Yeah, the doubt creeps in. It happens to all of us, especially doing new stuff. It was one thing when we're young, and I love watching our kids. They're 7 and 11, and seeing how they see the world differently. Like most of the challenges are just not too overwhelming. It's like, oh, okay, I've never done this before. I'm 7, of course. When was I supposed to have done it? So,
Yeah, yeah,
and really getting them out of the habit of saying, well, that's too hard and I can't do that. And, especially as they're learning the basics, right? Like math and writing and all reading. And so through those things, it's like, okay, well, it become a natural thing. And then all of a sudden we stop doing it. And you really think, it's a disservice that we do to people. It's like, oh, well, you go to university, you've learned it all. That's all you need to do,
yeah.
right? Or a trade school or any of it. And we really need like an ongoing process to keep learning, to keep us fresh in that so that we're comfortable like, okay, well, I don't know this yet, but I'm going to learn it through practice, right? So
Right. Well, I was sharing with somebody the other day. I don't think it was you, but it may be. But the study of the children in like pre-kindergarten and first grade. Did I talk to you? Okay. Well, there was a study that I think it was MIT. I don't remember. But anyway, they took these children and they gave them pens and papers and markers and crayons and they let them just create and they were just having the best time creating pictures and doing all this. So then they took these same children and they started giving them a reward. So they put the little gold star on the paper, and as a little kid, you'll love that star, right? So they put them on the paper, and they were rewarding them for it. Yeah, good job, and everything. So then after they did that for a little bit, they stopped giving them the gold star and the kids quit wanting to draw and paint and everything because they weren't getting that reward. And so it's like that was so eye-opening for me because that's what happens a lot of times with us as adults too, that we've got this goal in mind, but the little pieces that we're doing toward the goal, nobody notices, we don't get a reward for, we really want to make this thing happen right here. And the journey along the way, we start giving up on it because we're focused on the little reward we feel like we're supposed to be getting, whereas the actual journey there and the end result is our reward, right?
yeah. And that's where really talking about achieving the goal, like all those micro steps that, can get you there. And sounds like Stacy can relate, is
Yes.
that we're only finished on like the reward is the end thing, the last thing we're possibly going to do. How do we reward ourselves for those micro little steps that we have to take? Sometimes those are harder than the final thing.
Yeah.
Again, talking about triathlon training and things like that, it's like I had
Yeah.
bad days training. When you're training for 6 months for something, you're going to have bad days, but you'd rather have a bad day training than a bad day at the race. So I talk about that with our lives and our business too, is like, have a bad day training. It's okay. You're going to
Mhm.
recover from that. This is just a small step. And let's get us to that finish line and know where we're trying to get to. Setting goals is easy, following through is the challenge. Yep.
Yeah, and
That
that's Jean Green that just said that. Yeah.
Yeah, the procrastination, perfectionism, it sets in there because we've been taught there's one A in the class, there's one promotion to go to, there's one seat at the boardroom table. Too many times we've been taught that, it's only that one thing and the rest of us are somewhere below the curve. And that's not true. Life is an open book test. Open the book, learn as much as you can and get the answers right, and
Yeah.
learn the next thing and keep growing and developing from there.
Yeah.
Choosing happy. Ooh.
Yeah. And that is Lynn. She was the one that was cooking dinner.
And she still had time to tell us a whole bunch. That's
I
fantastic.
know, I know. And
Yeah.
I will say that, Lynn, that's something that I do sometimes too, is I get involved in so many groups because they are my interest. And then I start finding out that sometimes, it's spreading me out too much. And I have to kind of hone in and decide what's the ones that serve me the most and dive into those. And it doesn't mean you're tied to that forever. You can always change it around, but maybe pick whatever would have to pick a number. If you think that you can effectively do well with 3 or 5 or whatever it is, you pick a number that works for you, and then you figure out which one those are and start there, and then you can kind of trade them out and things, and just see, to me, if that works, and if you have to do less or you can do more, because it's only you can make that decision.
Well, and set a goal for what you want to get out of that group. And it doesn't have to be like, I need to make 5 sales and they have to be a part of my. Well, not none of these smart goals. They're dumb, right? Let's have more things that align to us. I just want to connect with more people. I want to talk to people that live in a different country than me. Whatever the goal is, and the
Mhm.
types of things that are going on in these
Yeah, that's
groups,
good. That's good.
set a goal just for like maybe 1 month, and see
Yeah.
how it goes, and making sure you're putting in the effort to get that thing to actually get achieved. And if it doesn't resonate or it doesn't seem to happen in that group, then yeah, go to the next one. But sometimes we're just in there and we're constantly just trying to receive instead of like kind of having clarity as to what we're trying to actually get out of it, which again may not be a numbers thing. It could be more of a feeling, a sentiment. And that's great. We need a lot of that too. We need community. So,
Mhm.
what is it about that community that resonates, and what do you need right now to really help
Yeah.
you, and where you're going?
Yeah, because it's all there for you, not to divide you out to where you can't focus or you can't get any results because you're too split. It's kind of like that old thing. You get your magnifying glass out and the sun's shining through it. You can burn a paper up, but if you just have the sun on that piece of paper, nothing happens. So you can get spread out so much that you don't really get the benefits of anything.
Oh, an
Um,
avoidance tactic, that's another thing
okay.
too. It's very easy to get kind of shiny object syndrome and
Mhm.
and start seeing all the positive things that are out of there, but also taking up your time.
Oh, honey, you
Oh,
do have a
yeah.
business. It's your personal journey.
Yeah. Our lives are our business. We are
That's
our own
right.
brand. Yeah. No, that's fantastic. I love that too. And so, I really work with people on what I like to call the art of goal setting and goal achieving, is really starting to paint a more colorful picture for ourselves about what this really means to us. And both in our personal life and our professional life, I'm talking about running marathons and doing other things that has nothing to do with my job. It did sort of at one point, but mostly I was so busy with my corporate job and it stressed me out. I needed to run really, really far to get over this stress. But so 2 years ago, I put on my vision board a picture of a car. My car is getting kind of old. I'm like, okay, I kind of need a new car. And normally I would have put a very practical, smart goal, right, car on there. This one's very fuel efficient, and the color, and it has seats for the kids, and all those kind of practical things. But for this year, for some reason, I was like, you know what? I want to put a fun car. Wouldn't it be cool if I had a fun car? And so I took this picture of this BMW i8, which is an electric sports car.
It
And
kind
it
of
kind of
sounds like
combined.
an oxymoron there, right?
Exactly, but it's fully electric. It actually has a fake sound that goes vroom vroom just so you can feel like you're still going that way. And I gave it to my boyfriend to print the picture out to go on our family vision board. Even the kids put stuff on the vision board that we, talk about, and we see it right from the kitchen table as we're eating. Well, my boyfriend said, I don't like that color. You need it in green because green is his favorite color. And I was like, whatever, dude. Like it's this ridiculous, very expensive car. I'll probably never get it. But I just wanted to put something fun on there in this art goal setting, right? Is like,
Hmm.
what if I had a fun car? What would it be like? How would I feel? Why is this important to me? There were many times in my life I didn't have a car. I had to take the bus or I rode my bike. Even with my corporate job, there were times where I just wasn't making ends meet and my car had fallen apart and I needed to save money because I didn't want to have a car payment. I wanted to be able to afford that car outright. And so for me, this car represented all these much bigger things. It wasn't about like what most people think is like, oh, I just like flashy. I don't even like flashy cars. I was like, I don't actually want it. I feel like that's going to be a lot of maintenance and other things I don't want in my life. And November came around. And of course, I still don't have this car yet because I wasn't really trying to get the car. And I went to go do a photo shoot for my business. And so I was doing videos and photo and all this stuff. And the guy said, hey, part of the video shoot, we have these really nice cars that you can use. And you're going to go drive around Miami and we're going to video you and film you. I cannot tell you that one of these cars was a green BMW i8.
Wow, how cool is that? That's magic right there.
The very specific car that 10 months before I had put up on this vision board that manifested these other things and other feelings about my self-worth and my ability to achieve success, and it came together. And so that's why I want people to think differently about these goals, that the picture is just going to be a picture that people may not understand that underlying piece, but we got to know what that underlying piece. Oh, Stacy loves doing vision boards. Yeah, it's another great one to do because you just think about these things, but think about all that emotion and the feeling and think about what it really means to you. And I had no plan to actually achieve it. I didn't know that that guy had that car
Yeah.
available. And when it happened, I sat down and speaking of writing, I wrote and wrote and wrote. I probably wrote 10 pages of that feeling and that importance and what did I want to manifest next and make those things happen. So this art of goal
Beautiful.
setting, I think, is important for us.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Thank you for sharing that. That's pretty cool. And so the thing too is like, and if everybody wants to, wait, if you're wanting to do a vision board or something like that, put something in the comments, reach out to me later. We'll do something as a group, and that would be fun. So Nikki, what would be like if, because I've done vision boards before and there's so many different rules of thumb of why you do certain things. And I even did one time where you were supposed to do certain quadrants were for different parts of your dream and all this thing. And so, I'm a rule follower, but I hate rules, right? I'm the first one to say, well, that's what the rule said. But, I definitely want to do things outside the box at the same time. So what would be a really good suggestion? Like if we were decide that this group, Make Lasting Change, decided that we all wanted to get together on a Zoom call or something, and we were going to do vision boards. What is the like a good rule of thumb of things that we would need to do for that?
Yeah. I also try not to make it too overwhelming, right? Again, about going about spreading ourselves too thin.
Hmm.
We pick 3 pictures as a family. That's it.
Okay, that's
No
it.
more. It's
Three per
not a huge
person.
3 per person in the family.
Okay.
So kids get 3, my boyfriend and I get 3.
Okay.
And we talk about
Well, that's
what would
very
also
different
be
from mine.
a common goal, and we also pick a common goal. So, like, what
Hmm.
would we like to do together as a family, that would be nice? Vacation, go to the water park, just go ride our bikes. Like, the kids want simple things most of the time, right? But a
Just
lot of
like,
times we keep painting these bigger pictures. And if you want more of a life vision board, then you can put a lot more things in there. But this is where the art and science have to come together a little bit of like, what's achievable in one year? What can I really resonate with? What can I keep my focus on? What do I have the tools in my tool belt right now to be able to do? So keep a kind of time-based one that's very focused, and collaborative within whatever your partnership looks like. And then you can always have bigger, more elaborate ones that take up a whole wall that talk about life goals too.
Yeah. So if we're picking 3 things for our vision board, is there is one supposed to be business, one personal, one what personal, business, what?
Yeah, and usually health, right? So
Health,
that could be
okay. I was like, "What are the
spiritual
other ones?"
health. Yeah, it could be spiritual health, it could be physical health, it could be,
Okay.
somewhere there. But I always try to include like some kind of healthy goal as well, because sometimes what happens is we get so focused on our business goals or some other personal goal, we kind of forget to take care of ourselves. So some sort of self-care goal could be, doing meditation every day. It could be, whatever those things are that resonate with you, or maybe taking a vacation together as a family.
Mhm.
I think that's really good, because then you're not like so overwhelmed with all these different things. Like, what does all this mean? And how am I going to juggle? And now it's a pressure and a stress, instead of like you look at it every day and you're like, heck yeah, that's going to happen. And I'm getting closer to it every single day that I sit here and look at that picture.
That sounds beautiful. That sounds beautiful. So, guys, you're gonna have to let me know if that's something you're interested in. I mean, and let's see. Wait a minute. I'm gonna put this up here so I can friggin' read it. Here we go.
That's gonna
And who is this? Let's see. That's Lynn. I've never done a vision board, but listening to you now, I think it would be good. I would love to be able to work with flowers. Ooh, I used to be a florist at one time. Or working in a nursery. It's been a dream at one point where I lived on 15 acres to have greenhouses. That didn't happen. I feel like another goal is to work with a community of women. Health and nutrition are important to me. I'm rambling now, but thinking out loud. Hey, that's how we make this stuff happen, is we think out loud. Half the time I do videos, it's like, well, wait a minute. I was thinking that, but now I need to say this. And it's just how it is. It's perfectly fine.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And you can make the board doesn't have to be pictures. It can be flowers itself,
Yeah.
right? Sometimes I've made kind of multimedia ones that again had maybe a token of a rock I found on a beach that, had a special meaning to me, of a place that I went to. So yeah, I love that, and get creative. Let's bring those flowers to life.
That's right. That's right. Well, one of the goals I used to have, and I used to talk about it a lot, but I haven't talked about it much as of late. But I used to want to buy some property, have 50 acres, and have some of my family members have a house on this place, and then have a beautiful garden and have all these flowers. And there's a person that I follow on Instagram, and gosh, what is her name? Is it Inga's Garden? Something like that. And she's got the most magnificent garden. And she has a video where she'll walk you through pieces of it. And it's just like glorious. And her cat will be laying on this chair. I mean, it makes me really want to have that garden. And it looks like it's more of a smaller space, but it's like I can just envision sometimes being on this property and just having all this stuff, and almost having like a big square in the center where, we could all, as family, because I really probably wouldn't have more than family on there. And we just all come together and have a party and a picnic and just have a good time. And I don't know why that just appeals to me so much. But it does. But like I said, I haven't really talked much about it as of late.
I love it. I love it. And,
Yeah.
and that's it. We start with these smaller goals, which lead to that bigger goal that you're trying to get to. Before you can get to the 15 acres with the greenhouses, you need to start with something, tangible to, like you said, work in a nursery or be around flowers, be in a florist shop, maybe just work for Mother's Day or something.
Yeah.
I know my parents are very creative, and they belong to a ceramic shop. So they all did pottery and everything. And it was next door to a wholesale flower place. And so on Mother's Day, they would all make vases, and then the flower shop would deliver the flowers over. So then they had a big sale. People would come over to buy the ceramics, they'd get free flowers, and then they would give them
Oh,
off
how
to
cool
people.
is that? Yeah.
So, there's creative ways that we can make some of these things happen, and just again, like have a reward to yourself that you get to experience it, remember that joy, and then maybe the next thing will come together because you're already in that environment. And then the next, part of that goal comes together. So,
Yeah. That's where all that intuition stuff comes in, right? Um, All right, so that is Lynn too. I keep having to look to see who it is. My
It's
friends out in New York, where I used to live, have always talked about having our own commune and living together and living off the land. Yes, yes. It doesn't that sound appealing? I don't know why it does. I mean, I live in a neighborhood. There's I don't know how many houses are here, but they're pretty far apart, and so you feel like you're not in a real close neighborhood. But I don't really know my neighbors, so something about that commune type environment just sounds really good.
It does. Sadly, well, when my grandmother, started to get sick and we needed to put her into a nursing home, I started telling my friends about it. I was like, oh, well, they have ice cream socials and margarita Mondays, and there's all these fun things and activities, and people come in and perform and do improv. And all my friends were like, wait, can we go now? Like, someone comes and does your laundry and cleans your space. And so we went to go visit my grandmother as she went there. A lot of friends I've, known since high school, and it was fantastic. My grandmother loved it. We all came and visited with her and talked to the other people, and we told them how jealous we were that like we couldn't be in the same space. And
Yeah.
I think most of us want to kind of get back to that. Too many of us have had to go too far away from family and friends and been cut off in them, from recent years. So getting back to that, I think, is really important to a lot of people. And I'd love to see you manifest it. Let us know. We'll all show up, and we'll bring some
I'll
flowers
keep
and
you
pie.
posted. Hopefully, maybe my book and this will happen along together, right? I would have more
There you
time
go.
for my book, maybe. I don't know. And it's probably not a time thing at all, because like I was saying something earlier today, I was on a video and it was like sometimes time is this excuse I have for things,
Mhm.
but I never have to find time to eat. I never have to find time to brush my teeth, to feed the cats, to do certain things. I just make it happen, right? And so I
Mhm.
know that it's not a time thing, because time is an illusion anyway. And but for whatever reason, that's my go-to. And so when I hear myself say it, it's like, is it
Nope.
really?
Yeah, it's just time to reprioritize and take that pause. And, I think it was mentioned too. It's like sometimes we just stay so busy, and it's easy to do that. Is let's be less busy. Let's take that time for the pause and plan and enjoy it. Oh, we're
Yes,
gonna have to
Lynn.
have an event at the commune. Yes,
That's
perfect. That's
right.
exactly it. That's exactly it. Yeah. Well, and I think, as much as I love being able to do virtual stuff like this, which gets you at least some level of contact to get to know people, it's totally different when you can really sit down and have a real conversation over a cup of coffee or whatever, or a glass of wine, depending on your choice,
Yeah.
and just get to know people a little better. And, the more you can connect, you never know where that adventure will take you. So.
Right. Well, it's like one of the things that I've been sharing in the community is I always feel like we know each other, and I feel like we're sitting in my backyard around this big campfire and we're singing Kumbaya and we're really having a good time. And so I mentioned it, I don't even remember. It was sometime last week, I believe, that I said I thought we should do some kind of retreat so that we could all get together and physically be in each other's space. And I have dropped the ball on even doing anything about that. I'll be honest. And but it's something that I definitely would love, love, love to do. I think it would be so much fun. And there were several people on that live that day that said they would be there. They would be there. So we'll be making it happen at some point.
Yeah, pause and plan. That's definitely an important part. I think I
Yes.
forgot that a lot because in our corporate job, a lot of times people are like, go, 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 go. If you're not, going and checking emails and going to meetings, you're not being productive. And that actually, none of that is productive. Taking the time to just sit still and plan is so much better. Another kind of funny quick story of last year, one of the things I put on my vision board was me surfing for the very first time in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. And again, it wasn't about me surfing. It was more about trying new things and pushing
Mhm.
even myself to get out of, kind of a little bit of my comfort zone, both with my business and professionally. That one was a little bit of a crossover, but I had no idea how I was going to manifest that one. I didn't know what was going to happen. November seems to be my magic month because November is when everything comes together, which is usually when you're kind of nervous, like, man, I don't know if this goal is going to happen
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah,
like we're almost out of
yeah.
time.
Come on, baby.
But I think it's because I spend so much energy early in the year doing the other ones that I kind of have a more clear vision of, like launching my books and my programs. So a coach that I had been on her virtual stage with a couple months ago said, Oh my gosh, on Instagram. I have a crisis. I'm giving a retreat in Costa Rica in a couple of weeks, and my co-coach is sick or can't go, or something happened, family emergency. Does anyone want to go to Costa Rica in 2 weeks and help me run this retreat? And I am planning to do retreats all 2024. So 2 months before I'm planning my next vision board, I'm like, oh, I could go. This lady's
So
been
you were,
running retreats. Yeah, I was like, yes, I need to learn. She's been doing it for 7 years. I would love to, and I worked really well with her. She's a great coach. And Costa Rica, let's do that.
yeah.
And one of my bigger life goals is to visit as many countries as I possibly can. So I'm like, okay, that'll be country number 15. Let's add Costa Rica to the list. And so I went. I got on a plane in 2 weeks, went to Costa Rica. There ended up being an extra space. So my boyfriend ended up being able to come with me to the retreat. I worked. I surfed. Ironically, I actually surfed, and I got to do a great mentorship program with a really experienced coach. So you don't know how these things are going to come together. Somehow I'm getting things to actually be the things that
Yeah,
they're putting out
beautiful. And hi, Carlos. Thanks for joining us.
there. He's my boyfriend who showed up in Costa Rica. So that's funny that I manifested him just
Too funny, too funny. All right, so we talked about the goal setting, and we talked about creating our magic in our goal setting and making it fun. So what else do we need to kind of um, jump in on?
Celebrate. Celebrate is the
Celebrate.
most
Okay.
important thing. We talked about that need for reward. We talked about, kind of always waiting for someone else to give us that gold star, someone else to give us that grade on the
Hmm.
paper. And I think that's where most of us get challenged, because most other people, they're so busy with their own business. They don't really care about ours. They may love us and care about us. They just can't, right? Like everyone is so focused on trying to get their own things done. So really making sure that you have a point at, once a week, once a month, figure out what that increment works for you and actually celebrate. Like again, pause and celebrate, making sure you know what's going on to, hey, what went well? What can I have some gratitude for? And making sure, hey, this is where it incrementally, got better. Or for some reason, I made just the right connection and I made a leap forward in my
Hmm.
business. And then thank those that helped you. Thank those
Right.
that were there for you, that gave you that intrinsic support that you didn't know, was there. And so finding more ways to intrinsically motivate ourselves. And once a month, I run a happy hour and I just bring people on virtually and just say, anybody got stuff to celebrate? We'll all celebrate with you. We may know nothing about it. We don't care. We're just going to be here to celebrate and support
Oh,
you.
that
So
sounds fun. That sounds fun. All right. So I want to be invited to that next one. I'll be saying. Um, so I'll ask all you guys that are here, have you got something in your mind right now that you can think of about celebrating for the journey you're on now, even though you may not have reached your goal yet? Is there something that you can celebrate? And you don't have to put it in the comments if you don't want to. You can just put a one in the comments if you know you've got something that you could celebrate and that you promise that you will celebrate it. So come on, give me some ones or give me some info.
well, and I'll celebrate all of you guys just for showing up, just for
Yes,
coming here
yes.
today, and starting to push yourself to think about, goal setting and goal achieving in a new way. That's an important part of it, right? Just rethink it
Yay.
and take the pressure off. So thank you
Yeah,
guys for showing up and
yeah.
celebrating with me.
All right. So Carlos, Lynn, and Jean have all put in a one. So yes. So you promise now you're going to celebrate this thing in your life, right? This goal, this just even the little things like I always talk about. And I'm sure you know this too, Nikki. It's a 1% change every day creates exponential growth. And so we
Mhm.
don't really have to be making these quantum leaps because half the time, if we did, it'd scare the crap out of us and we wouldn't be able to sustain it. And that's the main
Mm.
thing, is to be able to do things in a way. It doesn't mean you have to be at a snail's pace, but it does mean you have to stay within your belief system and stretch it a little bit. That's where I come in with the hypnosis, because I can help you kind of stretch that out a little bit so you can have better belief system. But until you do, doing a little bit to stretch and that where your belief changes. Because one of the things I'll say is that you've got to be logging all of this information, because today you do something new, tomorrow that's your new normal. So you don't even
Mhm.
recognize that change anymore. Yeah. And so it's
Absolutely.
like, that's where I'm always telling them, because I do a daily affirmation and journal prompt in the group. And that's, you got to be writing this stuff down, because you're not going to believe what happened if you don't.
Absolutely. And that 1% is us pushing the boulder up the hill, right? Us really trying to put all this effort in, because again, we've taught that unless we're putting 150% in, it doesn't count. And what's great about communities like this is it's that cosmic connection of us together where you will get those exponential like improvements, because all of a sudden you'll make a connection in this group, or you'll hear something that resonates with you, and all of a sudden you're going to learn that much faster and leapfrog what you were doing before all by yourself. So definitely stay participating in these groups, because that's where that transformation is really going to happen.
Yeah.
Oh, she's celebrating the idea of the vision board.
All right, so that's Lynn, I believe. Let's see. Yes, yes. And so, Lynn, there also, you could actually research from places that might be teaching something about flowers. And so you could do some research about that. And there may be something that you could participate in and learn a little bit more. So just a thought, because I will say that when I became a florist, what I did first was I actually, believe it or not, worked at a grocery store, and they hired me to take care of the flower department. And I had to take all these classes about how to be a florist and how to make arrangements and taking care of the flowers and doing all of that stuff. And so, and that's been a long time ago. I bet you there's that information on YouTube, or Google some stuff and start learning a little bit and taking on that essence of being that person who deals with flowers.
Yeah, I love that. And you never know, there could be, again, lots of ways to give back. That could be volunteering, just again to fill your soul with the thing that you like.
Hmm.
Going back to kind of nursing homes and things like that, it could be delivering them, right? It could be helping with any part of that process, and really seeing what the ecosystem looks like. So oh, silk flower arrangements. Oh,
Oh
that's a great
yeah.
idea too. Yeah, my mom used to do that. Her whole bouquet from her wedding was silk, and then she was able to keep it forever. Who needs the cake topper, right? Like you
That's
can
right.
keep the
That's right.
flowers.
Well, I learned enough as working in the grocery store in the flower department and being a florist, that I actually did my own flowers for my wedding, and I did silk flowers for one of my sister's weddings. So um, I've been asked to do that many, many times, and it's just one of the things. It's like, fun. Starting to volunteer at food pantry tomorrow. Hmm. Nice. That's beautiful, Stacy. You're going to love that.
Yeah, and I volunteer at a lot of different places, usually things that have to do with children, because growing up in my kind of complex family that I had, it was all those people that did do that little bit extra to make sure I got to school, I had food, I was doing my homework, I was safe and I was secure. And so, finding things that are passionate to you to continue to give back, that volunteering time will feed you back, tenfold. So
Yeah.
I love that, and not just waiting for those times like the holidays, that people need help kind of all year round. So and it helps your
Yes,
soul too.
definitely. Yeah, I've done I belonged one of the things that I wanted to do was volunteer and do things. And so I joined a philanthropy meetup group. And I didn't know that those kinds of things existed. But when I started to get into meetups, I thought, well, I have nothing but time on my hands now, that I'm an empty nester. Yes, yes. But so I started looking for anything that had to do with philanthropy. And I found this meetup group. We fed the homeless, we did haircuts for the homeless, we did all these different kinds of things. So anything that you're interested in, you could also see if there's a meetup group that has something to do with that. And you can meet some in-person people that might, you never know who you're going to meet in one of those, that might put you on a trajectory for something more.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Oh, I love, thank you guys all for sharing. I know sometimes, we have all these things and we're like, oh, well, again, if it's not that monetary, I'm making six, seven figures in my business and some of these weird things that people are always talking about these days. I met plenty of people that made that kind of money and they were not nice people. So I don't necessarily advocate for that. I think there's a better way forward for us. And, oh, that's exactly
Beautiful.
it.
Yeah.
That building our communities, volunteering, helping each other, giving of ourselves, our talents, so we can help people find theirs and harness them as well. I mean, that's what it's all about for me, and what I want to help people do is lead differently, think about things differently. Our life is more than some kind of title on our, resume. It's about all the things that we're doing and the way that we're treating each other, our family, our friends, and the people that we partner with for business. So
Yeah, yeah, and it's more than our bank account too, because that's not a true measure. That's a measure for the world, and of course, we all want to have padded bank accounts. I mean, who doesn't? But I think we've gotten since, like, you mentioned the 6 or 7 figure earners, and that's the whole thing, and, it's not a race to see who has the most money when they die.
mhm.
It's, let's enjoy life now. And like Stacy's talking about going and volunteering, and then Lynn's going to make silk flowers. And it's finding that joy within you so that life is beautiful and gorgeous right here, right now, not way off. I mean, you want it to be nice way off in the future, but if you're living for the future, you're not enjoying the now. And that's where the beauty is.
Yep, absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, yeah. So I love all the things that you've shared. And so I don't even know what time we started since we had such a big snafu with everything, but I know we're getting close to time. So, what would be, our whole thing was, our title was A Future So Bright You Gotta Wear Shades. And so when I put that as the title, it's because we had talked so much about how goal setting and all these things would create this magnificent life that we would have as we incrementally do things. And so what kind of thing would you want to share, maybe at the end, this aha thing, whatever it is that you want to share last, so that people can have that future so bright that they've got to wear shades.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's keep setting the goals, but really focus on that achievement. And that comes from a couple of very clear ways for me. Focus not just on the science, but the art of the goal setting and how are you really connecting emotionally to that goal? What does it mean to you? And still make it somewhat time bound so you can get there. And then find a community that will support you in achieving that goal. And that may not be the immediate people around you. It may be a new group of people. And so don't be, afraid to reach out and say you need help and here's something you're looking to do. And if there's any way that I can help you, definitely reach out and I'm happy to be that person for you.
Beautiful. So do you have a link or anything that you want to share? You said you've got a program that's coming up. Um, is
Yep.
there something that you want to share so that they can maybe grab it if they want to?
Yeah, let me grab my latest masterclass. Where's the link at? Do, 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 do. So many links, so little time.
And thank you guys for being so patient with me trying to figure out the echo and all those things.
Yep, there we go. All right. So I am running a masterclass. Let's see if I posted in the comments. That should go through there.
Yeah, we
The
can.
masterclass it's totally free. I run it every month, and we really talk about business foundations, but it can really be for any goals that we're setting. And so you're welcome to join. You're welcome to share it with a friend. There's sessions tomorrow, Thursday, and 2 times next week, and then we'll come back and do it again in May. But we're going to be doing exactly this again. People are going to be bringing in challenges that they're having, and we're going to talk about how can we help them. So we'll talk about mindset first and foremost, and then we'll talk about some other tools that we can put in your toolkit to help you succeed in whatever your goals may be. So you're welcome to
Wonderful.
join that or anything else in my community. If you jump on there, even if you just subscribe to that, then we can add you into some of our other free events that we have
Okay,
later
so
on.
is there a fee for this?
Absolutely free. No.
All right. Well, wonderful. Well, that's a no-brainer. So go ahead and just copy the link and put it somewhere on your computer or on your phone so that you'll have this. Because once we finish this, I don't know that it's going to be in the comments
In
on
the chat.
Facebook. I
Yeah, we'll
don't
see.
know. Sometimes it doesn't stay only if it came from Facebook. A lot of times that's the only one that's there. So definitely, well, maybe let me see. Maybe I can copy it and stick it in here so that it'll still be there. Hold on. Will it let me copy?
Technology.
Yeah, let's see. No. Let's see. Will it let me do it here? No. I can move you, but I can't do that. All right. So I cannot. So
That's right. I will also, here's the quicker like one just to go to all of my socials and things. If you want to connect with me on TikTok or Instagram or any of the things, you can just grab me there in the master classes and they're under events. So, you know,
okay.
there's a little bit of everything, my books, my podcast, lots of free resources under free gift, as well as the master classes is under events. So,
All right.
the NikkiGreen360.com. There you go.
All right, beautiful. So you heard it here, ladies. You know, you've got a resource right here that she can really help you with a lot of this stuff. So definitely, it's a free resource too. And so definitely reach out and just try it and see if it helps you with what you want to do. And then if it doesn't, you know, you're perfectly capable of saying, I think I'll try again later. It's entirely up to you. You know that. So this has been such a pleasure, Nikki, and thank you for being so patient with all my stuff. Oh my heaven's sakes.
I told you I'm the best possible person to be on this when we're having these kind of
That's
issues. I
right.
got
That's
patience
right.
for
It
days and
was
I've
like,
spent 20 years in tech.
oh my goodness. I find out how much I don't know about things all the time, you know. So thank you guys all for being here. I so appreciate you and you participating. It has made it such a pleasurable evening. And I will see if I can copy that. I'll get her to send it to me and then I will put it in
We'll see
the
if we can drop it directly onto Facebook or something
yeah,
where the
yeah,
live
so that once we get off here, it'll be gone, and or at least that's been my experience. But who knows? We'll try it. But thank you, ladies, for being here, and gentlemen. And so I will see you tomorrow morning, live 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, with our affirmation and journal prompt.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you so much for joining today while you're having dinner, and hopefully you got to learn a few nuggets.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was Jean. Thank you, Jean. Thank you so much for being here. And this free thoughts from the Frontline newsletter says that will be in 10 years or so. Anyway, we will we will just go ahead and say that's a wrap. Okay. You guys, I will see you tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern, and be there. Mwah.